The supermarket was crowded with people rushing to finish their evening. Shopping carts rolled across the polished floor. Children laughed in distant aisles, and cash registers beeped nonstop. Near checkout 7 stood a young woman in a faded gray coat. She couldn't have been older than 27. In one arm, she held a sleepy baby wrapped in a pink blanket. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Her name was Emma. On the counter sat a single can of baby formula. I'm sorry, Emma whispered to the cashier. I need to return this. The cashier looked confused. Is something wrong with it? Emma lowered her head. No. I just don't have enough money for diapers. If I keep the formula. She clutched her baby tighter as tears rolled down her cheeks. I'll find another way. Several customers glanced over, but quickly looked away. Nobody wanted to get involved. Standing a few feet behind her was Daniel Carter, the chief financial officer of one of the largest technology companies. In the city, Daniel was wealthy beyond imagination. He wore an expensive navy coat, drove a luxury car, and lived alone in a huge penthouse overlooking the skyline. Yet despite all his success, he had never felt more lonely. 3 years earlier, he had lost his wife and newborn son during childbirth. Since then, work had become his only companion. When he noticed Emma trying to return baby formula, just to afford diapers, something inside him broke. He quietly stepped forward. Excuse me, Emma looked up nervously. Daniel smiled gently. Please don't return it. She blinked. I have to. You don't. Before she could protest. Daniel handed his credit card to the cashier. I'll pay Emma immediately. Shook her head no. I can't accept that. Daniel's voice remained calm. This isn't charity. She looked confused. It's a father buying food for a baby. For the first time in months, Daniel's eyes filled with tears. Emma noticed the sadness hidden behind his composed expression. The cashier finished scanning the formula. Daniel wasn't finished. Please add diapers. Baby wipes, baby food. Blankets and everything this little one needs. Emma gasped. No, sir. That's too much. Daniel simply smiled. A baby should never go hungry. Within minutes, the cart was overflowing. Other customers watched silently. Some smiled. Others discreetly wiped away tears. When the total appeared on the screen, Daniel didn't even look. He simply tapped his card. Emma stood frozen. Why would you do this for someone you've never met? Daniel looked at the sleeping baby. Because once someone prayed that my son would have lived long enough for me to buy him his first bottle. The words hit Emma like lightning. I'm so sorry, Daniel nodded quietly. I couldn't save my child, but maybe today, he smiled gently. I can help save yours. Emma couldn't stop crying. Outside the supermarket, snow had begun to fall. Daniel carried several shopping bags to Emma's old stroller. As they walked toward the parking lot, he noticed something. She wasn't heading toward a car. Instead, she walked toward a nearby bus stop. You don't have a vehicle, Emma shook her head. I sold it after my husband died. Daniel froze. He passed away. She nodded. Construction accident. My savings disappeared after hospital bills. I work mornings at a bakery. I clean offices at night. I'm trying. She looked down at her baby. I'm really trying. Daniel believed her. Every word carried exhaustion. Not excuses, determination. Before leaving, Daniel handed Emma a small business card. If you ever need help finding work, call me. Emma thanked him politely, assuming he was simply a kind businessman. She had no idea who he really was. 2 days later, Emma finally gathered enough courage to call. Daniel answered immediately. I've been waiting the next morning. He invited her to his company's headquarters. Emma expected a receptionist job interview. Instead, Daniel introduced her to the human resources director. He had already arranged free childcare. Through the company's employee assistance program, he had also discovered Emma had studied accounting before leaving college to care for her family. Within a month, Emma was working as a junior finance assistant. For the first time in years, she earned enough to pay rent without fear. She no longer skipped meals so her baby could eat. Months passed. Emma worked harder than anyone in the department. She stayed late, asked questions. Learned quickly 1 year later. She received her first promotion. Daniel watched proudly from his office one afternoon. Emma knocked on his door. I have something for you. She handed him a small wrapped box. Inside was a baby bottle. Daniel looked confused. Attached was a handwritten note. You couldn't feed your own child, but because of you mine never went hungry. Thank you for becoming the father my daughter needed and the hope I almost lost. Daniel couldn't hold back the tears. For years he believed money could only build companies. Emma taught him something far greater. It could rebuild lives 5 years later. Emma became one of the company's youngest financial managers. Her daughter Lily often visited the office after school. Every birthday, she insisted on bringing Daniel the first slice of cake. Everyone jokingly called him Grandpa Daniel. He never corrected them because deep inside, it healed a part of his heart he thought was gone forever. Sometimes the greatest investment isn't in stocks, buildings, or billion-dollar companies. Sometimes it's in a frightened mother standing at a checkout counter, trying to return baby formula because life has been unbearably unfair. One act of kindness didn't just feed a hungry baby. It restored hope, created opportunity, and gave two broken hearts a reason to smile again. And that is how a lonely CFO discovered that the richest people are not those who have the most money. They are the ones who never miss the chance to change someone else's life. Here's a strong YouTube outro for your kindness channel. Heart, if this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs a little hope today, and subscribe for more inspiring stories of kindness, compassion, and second chances. Speech balloon, we'd love to hear from you. Tell us in the comments. What would you have done if you were in Daniel's place, Belle? Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new heartwarming story. Together, let's spread kindness, one story at a time, Heart.